just before we start, like, how fucking good is that saxophone scene?
Oh, Timmy Capello.
Yeah, what a boss.
I'd forgotten just how long it went for.
Yeah.
Goes for like a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big part.
Carries on, doesn't he? There's a big story behind it. You probably read all that.
Welcome to Born to Watch, where three old mates review and discuss movies that mean the most to them.
Hi there, fellow watchers. It's that time of the week again. It's Born to Watch time. And of course, we're live from the Panic Room. My name's Whitey. I'm the host. And with me, as always, is my two stooges. Gow, the number two. How are you tonight, mate?
Good evening, gents. Good evening, listeners.
Yes.
Looking forward to another episode tonight.
Yeah, this one will be a good one. This one will be fun. And up there on sunny Payne's land is Dan Morgan. How are you?
Mate, tough week on Sonny's land this week. I got a bit crook, and because we're so remote, I had to call up the Royal Flying Doctor Service. You
watch that on ABC, did you?
No. You know, you're on the land. I've seen that before, that if you get sick, you got to call in the Royal Flying Doctor. So anyway, I gave my coordinates, and they told me I wasn't in the catchment.
Yeah, they said that Taunton Hospital's 6 minutes down the road, dickhead.
Oh, well, they asked me
get your missus to drive you down there.
I said, how far away is it? And I said, look, as the crow flies, because that's the sort of use as the crow flies up on the land. I said, it's a good hour walk to the chemist from here and about 6 minutes in the car. But anyway, so I had to sort myself out. But no, I'm feeling better today. I have had to downgrade my piss consumption somewhat. So I don't know if you'll get a more lucid response from me this evening or a bit shitter. But, just watch for a bit of a change from the other 12 episodes tonight, because I don't think I'll be as lit up.
Wait, when are you getting your mates at Tinny's with their pale ale? When are they coming on board as a sponsor?
Mate, as I said, I try and look after all the sponsors. I do get a lot of calls. The guys from Mountain Goat Beer called up this week and sent me a whole heap of piss. Thank you. So I've been getting into that, and I only just finished off the Capital Brewing stuff from the Canberran Masters of the fruity beer. But, happy to anyone you want to give me a shout out, G. Do you still like those Three Kings beers you get from Aldi? Is that still your bag?
Yeah, love those. Don't get them anymore.
No, I remember it was the best $14 for a case you ever spent, if I remember correctly.
It was a 6-pack, mate, at the beach. And you enjoyed them.
Yes, I'm
okay.
Anyway, get on to your mates at Tinny's Pale Ale, Morgs.
Moving right along. Let's start talking about what we're here for and what the listeners are listening for, all five of them. Tonight, it's the 1987 Bat Pack vampire classic, The Lost Boys. Starring Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patric, the Coreys, Diane Wiest, and a few other nuffies with long hair. This is the movie that really brought vampires into the mainstream.
Did you say Bat Pack?
I did say Bat Pack. Did you?
I thought you did.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
Did you steal that from the internet, or is that your own?
Oh, no, I didn't steal it from the internet. I'm pretty happy with that one. I'm pretty happy. So you watch, people will be scouring now to see if it was on the internet, but
I'm scouring already.
Yeah, scouring. Fuck you and your stats, Gow. Look, it's a great cast, great ensemble, and everyone is really bringing the heat. We've seen that a lot in the 80s, that there weren't many shit performances in the movies that we're covering here in Born to Watch. It's probably why we're covering them, to be honest. But, it's got some of the best 80s fashion that you're going to see, and mixed with some of the best 80s music. This is a real good fun movie to watch, and I actually really enjoyed it as a rewatch.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I loved this when we were younger. It was such a good mix of a movie, and it appeals to younger kids as well as, I guess it's got a vampire element in there for older people as well.
It was on mass rotation.
Yeah.
We watched this a lot. Morgs, what do you reckon? A lot. We watched this when we were teenagers.
Yeah, was it in my top four that Damo pointed out changes every week what my top four is? But no, this is pretty close. I don't know where we used to watch this. I don't think we had a copy of it, but it definitely, I think back with heightened nostalgia when I think about watching Lost Boys, and it was good to haven't seen it for quite a few years. I would say so. Having a rewatch this week was good to re-engage with it. So yeah, big part of our youth. 1987, this one out. So again, it threw me back, to what we were doing in 1987. I'd hit my peak as an athlete in 87, so I was on the downturn. I was still pretty good at basketball, a superstar, if you will. And I
didn't last long.
Mate, you were kicking it in our year 7 basketball team. You were a captain, I think, back then.
Yeah, I was really good.
Yeah.
I tapped in from a jump ball at Balgala Boys High against this midget guy, and that was. I think that was literally my
highlight
moment as an athlete. Yeah, and smashing the G in cricket on the weekends too when Cromer played. You were Colorado player, I think, in cricket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gow got the best fielding award in 1987.
I did.
Was his dad the coach of cricket as well?
No, that's why I got the best fielding award.
That's why I got best fielding. You didn't get best player.
I think it went down from best player, best trier, and then fielding award.
Nice.
I'd say that was eerily spooky because I was going to say when we're talking about basketball, I was thinking right then about your jump shot from the ball up at the key there.
Yeah,
you jumped up and flicked it in.
I just had it in
that
my
was at
mind.
Balgala.
Yeah, I never had much vert, but this guy was about 3'8", so I'm like, I'm just going to tap this in. So if there were any NBA scouts at the time, my life could have been very different. But 1987. I mean, we'd started year 7 at Cromer High. We've talked a lot about Cromer High, so I probably don't need to dive in a lot this week. But I also was lured to St Matthew's Farm by a fellow student for a teeth grinding pash after school one day. So I thought I was pretty much rocking the suburbs in 87. What about you boys?
Well, we discussed last week, I bought my first music cassette of all time, George Michael Faith in 87 from Sandy's Records, DY. Other than that, I was in year 6. I was but a baby.
Yeah.
It was 6'1".
How many years ago, Whitey, was 1987?
I don't know. 35? Was it 35 years ago?
It was. Well done.
Hey, look, I told you I'm good with solid numbers, man.
Oh, mate. I was looking back and thinking, what was happening back then? Here's the most popular sitcoms. 87.
Fuck, you're good.
The Cosby Show.
Ooh,
Roseanne. A Different World. Cheers. 60 Minutes.
What was
the Golden Girls?
A Different World was a spin-off from Cosby Show, wasn't it?
No, it was a spin-off from something. I'm not sure it was Cosby Show. Well, maybe it was. Cosby Show was definitely on the air.
Yeah.
Full House debuted. Murder, She Wrote. Who's the Boss? That
Murder,
was all
She Wrote
87.
debuted in... Oh, no, it was the most watched.
No, it was on 87. Full House debuted then. Top songs?
Yep.
Of course, Living on a Prayer.
Oh,
one of the greatest rock songs of all time.
Yeah. Open Your Heart, Madonna. Huey Lewis and the News with Jacob's Ladder. Lean on Me. One of all of our favourites. Starship. Nothing's going to stop us now.
Mate, for the Mannequin soundtrack.
Yeah.
Great movie, Mannequin.
Died in Your Arms.
Good flick. Ooh.
Cutting Crew. Is that Cutting Crew?
Cutting Crew.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Okay, good that.
Do you know what I've been listening to a lot lately is Your Love.
Elaborate.
What's the fucking artist? The Outfit. Your Love. It's just quintessential 80s moments. I don't want to lose your love tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, right.
You know it. I don't know where it pops up. It's not really from a movie or anything that I remember, but when I've been working on the land, I've had it blasting out from the Bozies, and the Kangaroos have been listening along with me. It's been good times.
Yeah, nice. Anything else, Gal, from 87 that you're going to wow us with?
Simpsons first aired on the Tracy Ullman show.
Yeah, it was terrible too.
Yeah, but it was only the short, so it didn't actually air till 89. Yeah. But yeah, so 35, can you believe 35 years ago?
A long time ago. We're so
That's
old.
fucked.
Oh, man.
We're so old.
Did you guys get into horror films, though, at the time? I was trying to think about what else we would have watched from that genre at the time, and I couldn't come up with much. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, I know.
Yeah, that's a good Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, that was, and I mean, the first two are okay as well, but that one was something I watched quite a few times. And Fright Night was another one that I watched a couple of times.
Well, we'll probably discuss Fright Night a little bit later.
Okay.
Yeah. So well done, Morgs. But
I really should read the run sheet. But yeah, okay, let's continue.
Yeah, we'll probably discuss Fright Night.
Why start now?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Why break a good thing? And look, as has become the tradition on Born to Watch, we stop for a minute's praise of ourselves and backslapping when we get some reviews and messages from some of our fans. And today we're going to go back to go forward because last week Dan mentioned the message from John Bull and talked a bit about it in Film School for Fuckwits. And I got a message from Johnny, good fella. It's true, I can't unsee that fucking Porsche. Loving Film School for Fuckwits. Awesome podcast. He's the one person that loves Film School for Fuckwits. So well done,
you
Johnny
got
Bull.
a fan, Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good egg. When I call him something else that's good, you tend to cut it out of the episode. So let's just say good egg, Johnny, but know that I said something stronger that these guys always edit out. So
no, that's purely just so Gal's kids can listen to the podcast.
True.
No problem. No, he's obviously an avid film fan, and what a legend. Good take on that. I couldn't agree with you
He's
more.
a good fella. And we're not finished with you though, Morgs.
Oh.
I got another one, and you are starting. This could be straight up swim fan here.
Oh.
Be careful of your bunnies, Morgs, because this is from The Color Purple again. Oh my fucking God, you guys. This is messages to me. So your tune, Whitey, is the same as Morgs's. Fucking hysterical. I think I love Morgs. He is my spirit animal.
Who was that?
That's from The Color Purple. We love her. She's a good egg. The Color Purple. She's a great fan.
If she's under the age of 59, then I'm interested.
Well, mate, you're interested then.
Good work, Colour Purple. I thought that would be Plims. He likes perps, but
he does.
Glad that we're resonating with the fans. And
It's a different.
I'll keep it up. It just makes me want to work harder and get more pissed.
Yeah, you're looking at your phone like you might have something.
I do. I've got one from Andy from the Hills.
Oh, we love Andy.
Listening last week. Another absolute belter. Just when I thought you had to set the bar so high that Brandon Stark couldn't even get over it, the Hat delivers a multilingual double banger and Whitey sings a power ballad. Keep up the great work, guys.
Oh, mate,
that's some obscure shit. Love it. Love it.
Nice work. Good on you, Andy.
Yeah, we love you, Andy. Keep listening. And he's fobbed us off onto his brother too.
Yes.
Adam from Barrel is listening.
Has Adam still got good hair?
No, he's a good looking fella. Still a very good looking fella.
Good looking rooster. I think he put away a few back in the day.
He slayed him. Yeah, welcome, Adam. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the team. We thank Andy for bringing you into the fold. Okay, Gow, why don't you tell us a little bit about Lost Boys?
All right, here we go. Tagline, never grow old, never die. It's fun to be a vampire. Not really sure that's true. Anyway.
I reckon this is the one movie where it looks like it's sort of fun to be a vampire. Anyway, continue.
See, this is the DVD cover. See if this suits the movie at all. Sam and his older brother Michael are all-American teens with all-American interests. But after they moved with their mother to peaceful Santa Clara, the murder capital of America, things mysteriously begin to change. Michael's not himself lately, and Mum's not going to like what he's turning into. The Lost Boys reshapes vampire tradition, deftly mixing heart-pounding terror, rib-tickling laughs, and a body-gyrating rock soundtrack. Directed by Joel Schumacher, a marvelous cast stakes you to gleefully ghoulish entertainment.
Yeah, I don't know about the peaceful Santa Clara, that's for certain.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to talk a little bit more about the peaceful Santa Clara and the part that fucking Grandpa plays in that. Not a bad synopsis of the movie, but it misses on a few parts.
It does, but that's off the cover.
Yeah, wow,
that's off the cover.
Yeah, all right. Let's listen to the trailer.
Michael and Sam have just moved to Santa Carla, California. They're about to discover its secret.
Notice anything unusual about Santa Carla yet?
No. It's a pretty cool place. If you're a Martian.
Or a vampire.
When you're a stranger, when you're strange.
So where are you? The flying nun?
I'm your brother, Sammy. Help me!
Stay back! Stay back!
What's happening to me, Star? Get yourself a good sharp steak. Drive it right through his heart.
You're a vampire, Michael. My own brother, a damn blood-sucking vampire. Oh, you wait till Mom finds out, buddy.
When a vampire buys it, it's never a pretty sight.
Michael, they're coming! What's that?
Another great 80s trailer. It's a little bit better than the synopsis, I think, that trailer.
Definitely better than the synopsis.
Yeah. It's about this time that we talk about how this movie rates. On IMDb, this one rates at 7.2 out of 10. And this is another certified fresh movie, which is about our third in a row, I think. It's 75% on the tomato meter. And with an 85% audience score, it's another banger. And we have no idea what any of that
Don't
means.
know how they work it out,
but it's rating well, and
sounds good.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Morgs, what do you think about the ratings?
I've no idea. Every week you talk about it, I just don't know what you're talking about. I know what IMDb is, but something blah, 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 audience, blah, blah. I just tune out and think about something cool I'm going to say next.
Yep. And I tend to agree with everything that you just said there, Daniel. Look, there's no doubt that Lost Boys set the bar in the 80s or the late 80s for vampire movies. It was a different take. It was it brought in that really sort of cool, teenagey, vibey vampire. And it sort of made you think that vampire life might be cool and it might be worth getting bitten and living forever. What do you reckon, Gow?
I don't know. They weren't very happy characters to me.
Well, they were emos.
They were.
Yeah.
The whole town was, though. I mean, they set that up at the start of the movie. Lots of punk rock goth sort of
it was
weirdos.
An interesting
in there.
place.
Yeah.
Morgs, I reckon you would have fit right into Santa Clara in 87.
Well, I mean, what a sick place. Like, you get to ride your dirt squirters on the beach. How fucking cool is that? And there's an amusement park on the beach as well. It's not like living at Collaroy where everyone's house is just getting shoved into the sea. They've put an amusement park with her. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like Coney Island in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the fashion they run, Morgs, you were running some of that stuff, I reckon, 86, 87. Coming back from Fitzroy. Did you run the long jacket? Did you run that long jacket he wears in the comic shop?
I was a few years behind.
How bad is that?
I did try out all their styles around 89, but no, 87 I hadn't. I was suspect on Bon Jovi at that time. I thought they were a bit bogan and didn't realise that I was a lot bogan. So I reckon I was about 2 years behind trying out all of the fashion that you see in this flick.
Was that in the middle of your catch it phase?
Yes, I definitely
you running a bit of catch it back then.
Some rainbow catch it boardies that I ran to swimming school down at DY Beach Pool that we went to in 1987. I definitely ran the catch its then, but yeah, I didn't know. I thought when I saw this movie, I thought that all the vampires were very fucking cool, and their costumes were. Apparently, they chose their costumes themselves too. The designer, she just gave the boys a whole heap of wedge and sent them out to Madison Avenue and kind of described their characters, and that's what they came back with. They all picked their own outfits, which I thought was interesting. It's not always how we do it in the industry, but seemed to work in this case.
Well, I got to say, and I can say this from a position of being extremely comfortable with my sexuality. The long black-haired vampire was strikingly beautiful.
He was a model. Sorry if I'm jumping on this, G-Man, but yeah, he was.
No,
he was a model in New York City, and he was cast in the film. But can we talk about Joel Schumacher yet?
No, we'll get to Joel Schumacher in a minute.
Okay.
We're going to get to that. And actually, it's probably a really good segue that. Let's hit the cast. And today, Gow, I think we really do need to talk for the first time about a director in Joel Schumacher.
Well, we try to get to it and then we just keep rambling and it's always at the last bit, so we never get to it.
It's Morgs'
yes,
fault.
we can talk about
it's all Morgs' fault.
Yeah, bro. Kiefer Sutherland, been in Stand By Me before this and then was cast. Joel Schumacher saw him in something else, actually, a movie called At Close Range, and just thought he was awesome, so put him in it. And I think, just quietly, he's the star of this. His acting in this is great.
Back-to-back villains. So Stand By Me, an outstanding villain.
Yeah.
And probably, one of the better villains, I would say, in Stand By Me, and then great in The Lost Boys. Into Young Guns when he was part of that, not the Bat Pack, he was in the new Brat Pack in Young Guns. Flatliners, Billy Baldwin, your favourite.
Well, but he's also is he the baddie or I can't remember if he was the baddie or the goodie in Flatliners. Who's the?
Kevin Bacon's the one.
Kevin Bacon was the baddie. Kevin Bacon was the baddie in Flatliners.
He goes a bit spare, but a few good men as well. Lieutenant
great
Kendrick.
movie.
Yeah, Kendrick. Yeah, great.
A Time to Kill. Freddie Lee Cobb in A Time to Kill.
Yeah,
he's actually a great run.
He's in a lot of Joel Schumacher films.
Yes, he is. Yeah,
he's a bit of a muse for the old shoe, and then of course Donald Sutherland's son.
Yes,
one of the great actors of many generations.
He's only 5'8" too. He's not super tall. They don't realise
They're all
that.
midgets.
Yeah.
They're all dead set midgets. Who's up next, Gow?
We've got Diane Wiest, who had been at that stage quite a few movies. She's been in Footloose. She was the mum in Footloose, although she was only 9 years older than Laurie Singer
Oh, really?
as her daughter. Yeah, at that time.
Laurie
Played the mum.
Singer. Laurie Singer, one of the great sorts of the 1980s.
Yeah.
Underrated.
Yep. and
Underrated.
Good movie too, Footloose. In The Lost Boys, she was in Parenthood, Edward Scissorhands, Bullets Over Broadway,
Is
The
it her
Birdcage.
torch? Is it her torch that Joaquin Phoenix brings out? Is it Joaquin Phoenix that brings the torch out in Parenthood? And it's her dildo? Is it her dildo?
Oh, I don't know.
I haven't
I
seen
can't remember that.
for
One of the
ages.
great fucking scenes in all of cinema. The big
That's-
Rello
that's-
bash and
That's
think
Ronnie
I found your
Howard.
torch.
Yeah.
comes out with the dildo. So
Ronnie
funny.
Howard. Ronnie Howard jam.
Ronnie Howard, yeah.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
flick. I've got to watch that again. I haven't seen that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most recently in The Mule.
Right, yeah, with
Clint
Clint
Eastwood,
Eastwood,
movie,
yeah.
which is a fantastic flick.
Have you seen the Australian film? There's an Australian film, The Mule, with that funny looking dude, Angus something or other.
Yes, Angus Sampson. Good
Isn't it?
Aussie actor.
Mm.
He's a jobbing actor. He's a jobber.
Yeah, really good. Jobbing actor, amazing character actor. Yeah, really good.
Who else, Gary?
Jason Patric. He in The Lost Boys. He was in Rush. Not a lot of high profile roles for Jason Patric.
Narc.
Yep.
He was
He was
good
in The
Narc.
Losers. He was in Sleepers as well.
Yeah,
He was
good
Shakes in
yeah, he's
Sleepers.
Good in Sleepers.
Sleepers is
Great
good.
flick.
Good
96.
flick. Heavy,
Yeah.
heavy movie, but good.
Hey,
flick
do you
that.
know a bit of trivia before we get to listen to this? I'll do it while we're here. Do you know who is Jason Patric's father?
Jason Patric Sr.
No, it's actually Jason Miller, who is Dimmy in The Exorcist, the younger priest that
Okay.
performs The Exorcist as his dad. Yeah.
Ah,
There you go. There you go.
well played.
Nice work.
Very, very good actor in his own right.
He's encroaching on your stats
He is.
there, G-man. Tell him to
Yeah,
back
we'll be
the
having a
fuck
meeting
off.
after this.
Production meeting.
Nice.
Production meeting.
Gotta
Schedule one. in.
HR with that one. No, straight to HR.
And look, then we get into we'll go through the two Corys.
Yep.
This was the first movie they did together of 8.
It was.
But Corey Haim was in Lucas in '86. Then in The Lost Boys. Then they were both in License to Drive.
I
Yeah,
like
good
License
movie.
to
It's a good
Drive.
movie.
I watched that. Yeah, that was probably my last two Corey's movie. I think I probably only Lost Boys and License to Drive. The rest, I think, I gave.
Yeah,
a
they
wide
weren't
berth.
great.
No, but he turned down the role in Stand By Me, but because he wanted him to have the role in Lucas, and that role eventually went to River Phoenix. That was River Phoenix's role.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah, no shit.
I
yeah.
can't see him playing the tough guy that River Phoenix plays.
No, but
He's
No, you wouldn't change that role.
but Corey Feldman was in quite a few movies. He was in the Bad News Bears. He was in Gremlins, The Goonies. I think in The Goonies he actually he knocked out Corey Haim for that role.
He's a great character in The Goonies.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
really good character.
Yeah. So he knocked him out of that. But then obviously Stand By Me, The Lost Boys, License to Drive, and then they were in 8 movies together. And a lot of them, we can go through them, but I don't know a lot of them.
Yeah, no, forget it.
Don't need to.
We don't need to know any more about the Corys. Anyone else, Gal?
Who else we got? Edward Herman.
Yeah,
Now he played
he's the head vampire.
Sam. Yeah. So he was in Annie in 1982.
Oh, yes.
Played
Yes.
FDR in
He
Annie.
plays FDR. Yeah. Well done.
He was in Richie Rich in
He
1984.
plays Richie Rich's
He
dad.
plays the dad. He was in Nixon, and he was Richard Gilmore in the Gilmore Girls. So he's been in a lot of stuff over the years, lots and lots of different things.
Another jobber.
Another jobber.
Gee, would it be fair to say the Gilmore Girls got quite a run at your joint in between Will and Grace marathons?
Oh, God, you watch some shit TV in your time, Gal.
I've not watched the Gilmore Girls. I've watched Will and Grace, not the Gilmore Girls. I draw a line somewhere.
That's
No.
Gal's line in the
it's very-
sand.
No, I haven't. I just haven't. I've seen episodes of it. I've never watched it as a series.
The Gillies. The Gillies.
But he was also in. He had some roles in The Wolf of Wall Street and in The Aviator as well.
Okay.
Small roles.
I couldn't. I tried to not use on the line to see what he was in because I thought you would tell me in this cast. But when I was watching Lost Boys again, I'm like, I know
Yeah.
that guy from somewhere, but I still haven't jogged my
I
memory.
think because he's got one of the. He's in roles, but he's not ever in a starring role. He's always in a character actor role.
Okay.
And then we've got Jamie Gertz.
had a crush on Jamie Gertz. This and Less Than Zero
Yeah. How
With
could you not have a crush on
Oh,
Jamie
Less Than
Gertz?
Zero.
were the two movies.
Made her film debut with Tom Cruise in Endless Love in 81.
Wow.
But she was in 16 Candles, as you said, Less Than Zero, Jersey Girl, Twister.
Yeah, she plays a dickhead in Twister.
Twister?
Yeah, she's Bill Paxton's missus
Yeah.
before he's moved on from Helen Hunt to Jamie Gertz. She's a dickhead.
Okay.
And she was up for the role of Rachel Green in Friends.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't get it, though.
She's
clearly.
also the famous I don't have a square to spare in Seinfeld.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just need a square. I don't have a square to spare.
Ah.
Yeah, and she's the sex line girl that Kramer's like recognizes a voice
Really?
from the sex line. Yeah.
She married a guy. She's one of the wealthiest women in America. She married a guy who's a major partner in an investment firm, and they're worth about $1.5 billion. So
Yeah.
he owns, well, they are co-owners of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA. Yeah.
Shout out to Bob Uecker.
Shout out to Harry Doyle.
That's it. Go back and listen to Major League, one of our best episodes.
Look, apart from that, we've got Alex Winter, who was in Bill and Ted's Excellent
Well, I
Adventure.
just know him as
that's
Bill
it.
and Ted guy.
Yeah, that's it.
No idea what his name is.
That's all you need to know.
Is he Bill or Ted?
Dunno.
He's Bill.
He's not Keanu Reeves.
He's the one that's not Keanu.
Nice.
No, he's Bill. Yeah, enough said.
Okay, so let's get.
It's a real ensemble though. There's no real standout lead actor in there, which is interesting.
I think Kiefer Sutherland is. He just overshadows everyone.
Well, he does, but he wasn't
But he
then.
doesn't
He
have-
wasn't big then when
No,
it
no,
was
no. But I
made.
just mean
Yeah.
in the actual movie, like no one was really known.
I would have said Corey Haim because there's the two stories. There's the kind of jokey story with the Frog Brothers, and then there's the other story with David and Michael becoming. And Corey Haim is kind of the linchpin of both of them. So I reckon he gets more screen time than old Kiefer. But hey, what do I know? I'm just an industry fucking vagabond expert.
Well, self-proclaimed, but anyway,
Well, Kiefer has the least amount of lines in the movie of all the major stars.
really. But fuck, he smoulders.
Yeah,
there you go.
but he's a smouldering
Fuck, he
vampire.
smoulders,
So,
man. That opening
yeah.
scene where he's walking through the carousel,
yeah,
he just smoulders, man. He's owning that. He's
Yeah.
owning it.
Good smolder.
So we should talk about Joel Schumacher. Quite a divisive filmmaker, but God, he goes on a run from the start of his career. Got some of the best movies of the 80s and sort of into the 90s.
what have we got? St. Elmo's Fire.
That's his first real, like, well, he does The Incredible Shrinking Woman, but really, it starts with St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, The Lost Boys, Flatliners, Falling Down, The Client, and Batman Forever. A Time to Kill.
Great
So two
movie.
John Grisham books.
Yep.
Phone Booth, Batman and Robin.
8mm.
8mm, yeah.
That's underrated. 8mm. That's the snuff movie.
Is it about
That's
snuff?
the snuff movie with Nick Cage.
movies?
I watched that
Wow.
about 8 months ago, I reckon, because I was like, oh, I should probably have a watch that again. It's disturbing. And Nick Cage is just Nick Cage. He just blows me away every time I watch him.
Just out there.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
It's just it's hilarious. It's just comedy without it. You know, he's fucking weird.
Yeah, he can do that really well, can't he? That
Oh,
weird
mate.
acting.
But it's just out of nowhere. It's just like he's got his own take on what's going on. It's really, it's odd. But anyway,
But so Joel Schumacher got in this because Richard Donner was going to direct this.
yeah. Well, it's produced by Richard Donner. It's
Yes.
a Richard Donner production.
Yeah, and he was going to direct it.
Yeah.
And then it was falling behind in production. And so then he went to do Lethal
Lethal
Weapon.
Weapon. I was going to say it's right around Lethal Weapon.
Yeah. So he went, I can't do it. So he
That's a
hired
great movie.
Joel Schumacher to come in and
Right.
do it.
Yeah.
So it was interesting all the films you went through for Joel Schumacher, and he did go on a good run. But something that I discovered about Joel Schumacher that I think is even better is that apparently he was a noted swordsman and claimed to have slept with between 10 and 20,000 men.
Men.
Yeah.
Right.
Men, yeah. Which poses the question, well, it did for me, who is the biggest swordsman in movie history? So when you think of noted swordsmen, you think of Wilt Chamberlain and June Simmons.
Errol
who
Flynn.
Have always
Errol
yeah,
Flynn.
yeah. Errol
Magic
Flynn.
Johnson.
Errol Flynn. Didn't think Magic Johnson, but if we want to stick to actors, so
The Bus Boys.
Errol Flynn, the Bus Boys. No, so someone's put a number to it on the line. So anyway, so Joel Schumacher, 10 to 20,000 unique encounters. Warren Beatty has got a number of 12,775, which is impressive.
How does he know that?
Oh no, it's pretty precise. So,
That's a hell of a fucking
anyway.
headboard to be notching into.
Charlie Sheen, 5,000. So he's rounded that up or down. Leonardo DiCaprio apparently in the thousands, which I would agree, and most of them 15 or 16 out of 10s.
Well, what were they? What was their gang called? The
Pussy Posse.
The Pussy Posse. That's right.
Yeah.
Him and Jake Gyllenhaal, and
yeah,
that's hilarious.
winning.
Wouldn't happen now.
Jack Nicholson has put away 2,000 apparently. And one that was a little bit disturbing to me, Screech from Saved by the Bell, Dustin Diamond, has claimed to have put away 2,000 as well. So that was pretty interesting.
R.I.P.
But so I mean, Warren Beatty is probably up there. But incidentally, Fidel Castro claims to have put away 35,000 red-blooded communists in Mother Cuba.
Yeah, but none of them had permission.
Yeah, we probably might have to remove that bit, but so I'll do it again. Incidentally, Fidel Castro was apparently the grand champion, and he claimed to have put away 35,000. So hard to beat there.
Well,
It's easy when no one's going to challenge you on it.
No, well, 70,000 no's and one yes still means yes. Anyway, on your Fidel, what a guy! Fuck.
Well played.
Well done, Morgs. Well done. Okay,
But Schumacher. So one other thing about Schumacher, I know we're indulging in directedness just because we missed it in the last couple, but I'm just going to take a break to cough. Schumacher actually he convinced In Excess to feature on the soundtrack, which is we'll talk about the soundtrack a bit later. But he actually said if we could license the tracks for the film, he'd direct a film clip for them, and he actually directed Devil Inside film clip for In Excess. So as a quid pro quo, which I thought was pretty cool. And he also did Seal's clip for Kiss by a Rose.
Yeah. Baby!
That's the one.
That's the one.
You just wanted to bust that out.
Oh, how
didn't you?
good was it though? I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the day. Ooh.
He was a good swordsman too, Seal. He was always hanging out with some A-grade phalange. So, I think... anyway, Joel Schumacher.
He married Heidi Klum, old Seal.
Yeah, Seal could go pretty good.
Well,
but Schumacher, 20,000 in the bank, well played.
Wasn't he dating Delta at some stage too?
Seal?
Yeah. Or were they just judges together?
No, I think he slayed Delta. Yeah. Well, that's a lot we have indulged in Joel Schumacher, and well played. I'm sure it was a good time for him in the 80s and 90s. Let's talk over and under, because I think we didn't do that last week. So let's talk over and under. Set the bar here at 30. What do you think, Morgs? You seen this more or less than 30 times?
I haven't seen it for a long, long time, so my memory is not the best part of me by any aspect. So I'm going to say under 30, but pretty close. I reckon in the 20s.
Yeah. Gail, what about you?
Yeah, I would say the same. I haven't seen this in a long, long time, but I did watch it a lot when we were younger. So I'd say under 30, but not by much.
Yeah. Look, I'm over 30. I watch this a lot, and it's not a yearly watch for me, but I have watched it in the last 12 months before I watched it for Born to Watch. And so I'm going to say probably just over 30, sort of maybe between that 30 and 40 times. So I win that one, which doesn't happen very often. We're usually around the same. But anyway, question time. So before we get into the categories, got a few questions for you boys. This seems to be my favourite part of the podcast, and that's all that matters. Question 1. Why wasn't Jason Patric a bigger star? Can someone fill me in on this? Because he looks in this movie like he's going to just take over Hollywood. What happened?
I don't know. He does, doesn't he? He's got the long hair. He's brooding, good-looking rooster, and then didn't really kick on after that.
He's in a few good movies. Like he's in Rush. You remember Rush with Jennifer Jason Leigh, with the Born to Watch favourite Jennifer Jason Leigh? Where they play undercover narcotics cops.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's a dark movie, but it's a good movie, and that's in 91.
He was in Speed 2.
Yeah,
we didn't cover that.
Fucking shocking.
Shocking
on the
movie.
Boat. That's on the boat.
That's the boat
That's
one,
on the boat. That's on the boat. Jeez, it's bad. He's in Geronimo. Like he's in some good movies. Narc's actually a really good movie, but he never really, I guess, made
Who,
it.
who do you reckon took his parts? Who was the actor that that cut his grass? What about who's the guitarist from Almost Famous?
Oh yeah, Billy Crudup.
Yeah, he looks a bit like him. Did he?
He
did
does. Well,
steal a
there's
bit of
Billy
his thunder?
Crudup. There's Keanu Reeves. There's a few.
Mm.
There's a few actors that are sort of vying. Well, Kiefer Sutherland is obviously in the same ilk of him.
Mm.
They would have all been vying for the same parts. But yeah, I would have thought from watching Lost Boys that Jason Patric's ready to just blow the world away.
Yeah, I agree. Don't know what happened there.
No.
I'll ask some of my colleagues in.
Yeah, can
in the
you
industry.
do some research and maybe get back to that?
Yeah, we'll do.
Can reach out to a couple of people, Morgs.
Yeah,
I will. I
Yeah.
will.
Okay.
I'll see
Well,
what
here
I
you
can
go.
find out.
He turned down the lead role of Mitch McDeere in The Firm, which went to Tom Cruise.
Well, there you go. So that's sliding doors.
Maybe you shouldn't be turning things down.
The Firm's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a really
He
good movie.
might just be a real picky prick because apparently Schumacher had to convince him to star in this one because he was a stage actor. Him and Jamie Gertz were in a play together, and this is a true story. It took him like 3 months of meeting with his agent to actually talk him into a teen vampire movie. So yeah, mate, I think he might just be a bit deluded. And if there's one thing we won't have on this podcast, it's delusions of grandeur.
Well, here you go. He turned down Mel Gibson's role in The Passion of the Christ.
Oh,
So
only
there's a change.
only Crazy Mel would play that.
Yeah, but look, a big movie though. So maybe you're right, Morgs. Maybe he just didn't want to do some of them. He's Jackie Gleason's grandson. Remember Jackie Gleason?
Yes.
60s, 70s
Yeah.
actor?
Yeah. It's actually funny that we were talking about this because I got a message from a guy on the line who he's apparently a big fan of the show. I don't know if he is, but he mentioned a movie, and not saying that he knew we were going to do the Lost Boys, but he mentioned this movie, The Beast of War, which actually stars Jason Patric in 1988. And this is from Nick. He's from the UK, and he actually just said that we should really watch this movie. It's actually based about a Russian tank crew that are stranded in Afghanistan, and apparently it's freaking next level. It's got George DeZunda. It's got Stephen Bauer from Scarface. So it's quite like, I don't know how this guy knew that we were going to cover a Jason Patric movie, but he suggests that we listen to this. Apparently it's one of Roger Avery, who's Quentin Tarantino's mate from Video Archives days and produced Reservoir Dogs with him, one of his favourite movies of all time. So we're going to have to look up this Beast of War.
We're going to have to look up this Nick. Maybe we should punt one of you clowns and get him on it. He sounds like he's all over it.
Yeah, he's all over it. But anyway, so there's another.
Mate,
there's
any more tips, Nick? Just reach out to me on MySpace. So that sounds good. I'll give that a watch for sure, and I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, it's dan@sunny'sland.com.au.
Or just MySpace, Dan on the land.
Okay, question 2. Why would Grandpa allow his newly divorced daughter and his grandkids to move to Santa Clara knowing it's just run by vampires? What's Grandpa thinking?
I don't know. I've got a counter question.
Yeah.
Is Grandpa Bill Hunter out of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert?
He's running the same.
He runs the little
Yeah.
headband.
The
He does run the
bandana
headband.
thing.
He's got the little
headband,
beard.
yeah.
He doesn't have a mail order though.
No.
No. Anyway. But
He's got the Widow Johnson to
Yes.
tickle his grandpa stick. So yeah, he's a tripper. So did she grow up there in Santa Clara with him? Like, because she's moving back to be with him?
I don't know. You don't know, but
No, they didn't go into that. No, they didn't really explore that.
He was able to put glitter in the blood to make the vampire's blood pop a bit more, but he didn't explain whether Diane Wiest had actually grown up in Santa Clara. So yeah, interesting choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did, because there's a couple of bits in the movie where he knew, there was a couple where he put all the wooden crosses out in his car or out in the garage. Or
Yeah, mate, he knew. He says at the end of the movie, he goes,
Yeah.
the worst thing about it is all these bloody vampires or whatever.
I know,
It's
but there's
like-
a couple of scenes before
Yeah.
that, so he knew. But I
Mate,
was
don't you just go, hey, okay, you're divorced. Let's move to Boston. Get out of this fucking joint. Don't get it.
maybe she had money troubles, had to move home.
Well, the Widow Johnson must have been very good at what she did to keep him in town. Okay, third question. Is Lost Boys the best vampire movie of the 80s?
Oh,
What are other vampire movies of the 80s?
Morg, you got anything here?
Can we pause on this one? So I actually visit this in a film school for fuckwits this week. So
Okay.
if you're okay to pause, fellow fuckwits, we will come back to this because I think it's an excellent question you posit and one that I would like to help us answer. So let's come
So
back
we're
to
gonna
that.
we'll talk about that in film school for fuckwits. Gow, you going to tell us about the gross?
The Lost Boys opened at number 2 during its opening weekend, a domestic gross of 5.2 million, and went on to a total of 32.2 million domestic in the US and Canada, against an $8.5 million budget.
Yeah.
So not too bad for that movie. I don't think it was ever going to be a superstar, but in that year, The Last Emperor received all the nominations, but the top movie was your favorite, Whitey, solo favorite, Fatal Attraction.
saw that in the movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beverly
That's
Hills Cop
just
2. So
so
Fatal
disturbing.
Attraction. Very disturbing.
It is disturbing. I walked out a changed man. I've never eaten rabbit since.
Oh, dear.
And I dislike women with curly hair. Anyway, continue. Except for Sam Morgan, who's amazing.
So Fatal Attraction, 320 million. Beverly Hills Cop 2, 276 million. Dirty Dancing, 213.
Don't put baby in the corner.
3 Men and a Baby, 167 million. Good Morning Vietnam, 123. Lethal Weapon. Predator.
Good year.
Moonstruck.
Another great year.
The Untouchables.
Another great year.
RoboCop. Well, I think we've had 87 before, so
yeah,
we've been
but
through a few of
fucking
these.
hell, like
Yeah.
seriously.
Eddie Murphy Raw.
I don't know if you guys remember, but this was a movie that was like, it exploded at Cromer High School. This was a movie that you had to see.
Yeah.
Like if you had not
agreed.
seen the Lost Boys, you were on the outer. It was a movie that had to be seen. It just exploded.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so a lot of good movies. Full Metal Jacket, Wall Street. I mean, The
Yeah,
Running Man. Far out.
What a good movie.
So the budget, G, you said 8.5 million to make?
Yes.
So when I was doing my Schumacher the Mad Router research, it said that he actually had his budget cut somewhat by the studio when the reason was unclear. It could have been that there wasn't a lead star that was going to drive the movie. But anyway, we were meant to see scenes of the vampires flying. But if you remember, it's all shot from point of view. So
Yes.
we see that the flying is always, and that was just to save cash. And they actually used some of the footage, leftover footage from Top Gun, which features in one of the scenes in there when they're flying through the clouds and he comes back down over the water. So, which I thought was really clever, and it doesn't take away from the movie at all. So, well played, Joel Schumacher.
Thinking on his feet, old Jolie.
Yeah.
He did a lot of that. So, anyway, can we move into Good, the Bad, the Ugly now, Gao?
Yes, we can.
So this is the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, where we talk about the things we like about the movie, the things we don't so much like about the movie, and then the downright ugly stuff. And I think we'll start with you, Gao.
The good. The fashion. How good was the fashion? I know Morgs loved it. It took him back to the
good.
days. Yeah. I just thought it was really, really funny. Just some of the things, that especially Sam wears. And
Oh God, it's terrible.
yeah. And who's Sam's the kid.
Sam's a kid, yeah, and
And then-
Michael's the older brother.
No, and the boyfriend, the head vampire, what's his name? Max.
Oh, the elder one, the boss vampire.
Yeah.
Max,
Max. He wears some good clobber too.
Yeah.
He wears
It's
like the black and white checkered jacket.
But the really long jackets.
The long jacket,
Really
yeah.
long jackets. And rolled up sleeves.
Yeah.
All the jackets had rolled up sleeves. It was like Miami Vice stuff.
Yeah, it was bad. And that long jacket that we talked about earlier that Sam wears into the comic shop, it's brutally bad.
Oh,
Loved
But
it.
the whole outfit, the shirt underneath is shocking. The jacket he's wearing actually looks like vinyl flooring, like floorboards.
Yes, that's right. The
Looks like
black and
strips
white,
of
yeah.
floorboards, right? It's terrible.
Anyway, that's mine.
What about you, Morgs?
I've got 3. So we talked about one of them earlier, which was boardwalks and amusement parks on the beach. I reckon that just looks so cool and would have been a great way as a under 18 to get out and get amongst some mischief. So it's actually Santa Cruz, obviously not a big myth to crack there that it was Santa Cruz where they shot. So apparently the city wouldn't let them film there if they called it Santa Cruz because they were referring to it as the murder capital of the world. So that changed it to Santa Clara. But anyway, I always look on fondly when I see that boardwalk and the amusement park on the beach because it's just so un-Australian and what we do with our land next to our beaches. And Number 2 was that you might not know this, but Corey Feldman actually got fired from the film during shooting because he arrived on set after a big night on the bags. And Joel Schumacher was not happy, but he apologised, and Joel Schumacher decided to let him come back in, which is great. So, yes, bad boy, Corey Feldman, well played. And number 3 was, you mentioned it before, Whitey, but I don't know anyone who didn't like or froth on the Lost Boys when we were kids. Like, it just had a moment. It was a cult movie, I guess, and we talked about Beverly Hills Cop last week and how it blended comedy, action, and drama. Well, this one really reinvented vampire movies, and we'll talk about it a bit later. But it managed to be very entertaining with a blend of action and comedy and enough drama to keep us interested. But it was very different to anything that we'd seen in vampire movies before, and just really entertaining, stylish movie. And I think that's a lot to the Mad Ruder Schumacher. But it also just established why I like cult movies so much more than blockbusters. It's just this one stays with me, and I think about with some of the vanilla shit that was served up these days from the MCU and the comic book movies. They just don't have that staying power. You just don't remember them year on year on year on year. You just don't give it to us. So that's my 3 goods for
Okay,
Lost Boys.
all right. I've got a couple, and because we've skipped Needle Drop because Kick-Ass credit song is exploding, a la Lost Boys in '87. The soundtrack of this movie is next level good.
Yeah, great.
Next level good. You know, you've got In Excess, you've got you got some Doors music, you've got, you know, the theme song, the Cry Little Sister.
Yeah.
The music is so fucking good.
Yeah.
There's not a bad song in it.
No, I really like the theme song in it.
Yeah.
He wrote that. He hadn't actually seen any of it. He just read the script.
Yeah.
I read this and put that together. But they recur that through the movie, but it's so good throughout it.
No, it's such a good soundtrack.
We talked about Tim Capello, sax guy.
Well, he's next on my list. At 9 minutes and 50 seconds into The Lost Boys is the greatest use of a saxophone in cinema ever. Period. Can't be beaten. The chains, the pecs, the ponytail, the long hair, the leather pants, and that fucking saxophone. And the guy owns it.
What a boss. What a boss.
Seriously, I don't know how anyone could have read that and gone, this is going to be good. But I'd forgotten how long it went for. We were talking before we started here. Like, this thing goes for a minute. I thought it was like a 7-second part of the movie. And it's a minute, that song.
Yeah, he rocks it on the stage.
Mate, and you can't take your eyes off the fucking TV when he's there.
And he's still got a fan page. You know, people still, it's such an iconic little part of the movie.
I'm joining it tonight.
Yeah. So he was a saxophonist for Peter Gabriel. And he went a bit Corey Feldman. He got on the gear and lost it a little bit. And that's when he cleaned himself up. And then because he also worked for Tina Turner after that, but he basically got back into that and started bodybuilding. And then started doing all this stuff with the shirt off and throwing the baby oil on. And so he did a lot of work for some famous people,
mate.
After that, but he quit all that in '79 and took up the weights instead.
Yeah, well, he's super jacked. I tell you what, one thing that's really close to my heart here is the video shop. Fucking love it. Seeing the old clamshells of the videos, seeing the big standee of European Vacation, seeing the point of sale for the Goonies. It was awesome. It was just good to see a good old-fashioned video store.
I did want to ask. I was confused a bit by the plexiglass cutouts hanging from the ceiling, the fluoro colours. I wasn't sure how that added to the customer experience in the video shop. But
I didn't have that in my video shop. That's for sure.
Certainly
and I didn't have the adult section in as prominent section as what he had it next to the fucking counter. There was absolutely no reason for old Maxie to have the adult section, which would not have been worthy anyway. It was R-rated tripe, a la Night Moves on Foxtel, R.I.P. And to have it in such a prominent spot is, you know, poor business management. But anyway, that was just really close to my heart. I loved it. Did your old boy have the Night Moves in his Foxtel package? he didn't know he did, but he did, yes. He didn't know he did, but it was definitely there. There's a very good story, which is not for this podcast. It's for Born to Watch After Hours. About Night Moves.
I got another good. We talked about two more goods. Dirt squirters on the beach, just as a young fella yet to become enamored by motorcycles. Seeing that was very fucking cool with the outfits they were riding and getting on. But one thing that really, when often you picture yourself in a role in the movie and you as a character, and it's something that directors often play up. But I in fact, I pictured you, Whitey, in this movie, and so when they do the under the train track scene where they have to hang on when the train comes over, I just pictured your pathetic noodles, how much they wouldn't have helped you as you were trying to hang on there. You would have lasted 2 seconds before you dropped into...
I would have gone first.
I would have gone first. Shaking.
Yeah, I would have gone first even before the train got there. I would have gone first and they would have had to dive to catch me.
So yeah, I thought that was a cool scene as well. But we didn't. And so comic book, I've got a real problem with comic books as well because did you guys ever get into comics at all?
No,
not really.
No. So comic books, it can be argued, have been a bit of a bane on the industry because they really take the lion's share of the dollars that are now spent on films to build out the Marvel universe. But it was quite a big part of the story in Lost Boys. But I never got into comic books. And I just wondered if you guys did as well. I didn't remember either of you doing it. But old Sam not liking horror comics. I just thought that it was maybe foreshadowing what was to come in our lives.
Mad Magazine was about as far as
I had a lot of Mad magazines. Love the Mad magazine.
Me too.
Okay, just about that. Motorbikes on the beach is cool. But why did they need them?
Yeah, but what about
they're vampires? They can fly.
I know.
So why do they want to get on the bike when they can fly?
But do you know why they needed them? Because it was Chekhov's motorbike at the start of the movie when Michael's riding his motorbike, so that it was like, oh, I'm one of these guys.
Right.
I can be in the cool gang because I've got a bike, they've got a bike.
That's how they get him in.
Yeah, that's the him going, well, I can be them. Yeah, Chekhov's motorbike. It's a famous trope from the 80s, Morgs, as we learned in film school.
I'm sure we'll hear more about that later.
Your take on it is not as silly as the delivery you gave it. So it's actually I hadn't thought of it like that, but it probably is.
Well, it's exactly why. Yeah, exactly why.
Oh, you couldn't agree with you more?
Yeah, well, that's right. Thank you. Again, that's why I'm the host, all right? So just stay in your lane, cunt. Sorry, Joshy.
It wasn't me, Josh.
Okay, so let's move into the bad, and let's keep it going the same way. Gow, what do you got for bad?
I've got the "you're dead meat" scene. So these vampires are flying around, ripping the tops off cars, ripping doors off cars, dragging people around. And then when they get attacked in their lair and not going into the full, massive piece of steak that goes through Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure guy, that goes through him, instead of jumping down and grabbing these kids, he yells out, "You're dead meat." And then they scramble and run out of the place. So it just flies in the face of the whole other scenes where they're flying around and taking out, first they take out the patrol guard at the start, then they take out the couple at the beach later on, then they take out all the punk guys at the beach as well.
So your take is the vampires aren't realistic enough for you, G-Money?
Yes. I also think that at the end, they get beaten up pretty quickly by a bunch of kids.
Yeah, because they're in the know.
Oh, right.
They're in the know. They're the Frog Brothers, mate. Yeah. They're in the know.
Anyway, that's my bad.
Okay. Yeah, good. It's a good one. Morgs, you got anything?
We had an early segment in this podcast where I was meant to come up with strange names of the movies from other markets, and I fucked it off because I couldn't be asked. But in doing some research for this one, I actually stumbled upon some bad because it did have a different title in overseas markets. So in Argentina, it was released as "Don't Let Mum Find Out." In Greece, it was called "The Children of the Night." In Portugal, it was called "The Boys of the Night." And in Taiwan, it was called "Rough Juveniles."
Wow.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
Shit house. Shit house.
That's some bad names.
That is some bad. You give love a bad name, Morg.
That's all I got. That was as bad as I got.
Okay, I got a couple. You have the dress sense in the good, and I have it in the bad. It's so good that it's bad, right?
Yeah. It's terrible.
That's a quick one. Again, with the 80s stalking trope, right? Michael stalks Jamie Gertz through the crowd. There's just something about the 80s and stalking. I just think it was the done thing. I think that's bad.
He's creepy. He just
He's a bit
stares.
cre-
He
does
just
stare.
stares at
Yeah,
her in the
yeah.
crowd.
It's like he's never seen a female before.
Yeah.
It's like he's never seen a female before, and it's embarrassing. Like, you're a good-looking dude, Michael. You don't need to be creeping on chicks. They should be, stalking you.
Man,
And
the guy
again-
turns into a vampire, and he's a little bit concerned that he's going to be a vampire for the rest of his life, and he goes to find out how he can not be a vampire anymore in the lair, and then he thinks, I'll just quickly root Jamie Gertz, and then I'll worry again a bit
Worry about
about
it after.
not being. So it's Michael's. He's going through some hormone changes, and his logical thinking probably isn't as sound as it should be.
Well, he's leading with his dick. It's a big problem for him.
It is.
Could have ended
It
very
is.
badly for him. And my last one is, again, it reeks of Roadhouse, this movie. Where the fuck are the cops? There are so many missing people. There are missing person signs all over the town. And they just go about their business like it's fucking normal. How many people need to disappear in a town before people go, we got a fucking problem here. Let's try and solve the problem.
Well, that's it. Laddie goes missing, the young kid,
Yeah.
and the security guy goes missing, and then the people on the beach, and there's nothing.
The surf
no
guy.
one's ever talking about
but
it.
that's the ones that we see.
Yep.
There's people putting pictures up all over Santa
Yeah.
Clara.
It also moves a little quickly. I mean, it seems like that first night, he sees Star, and then sees it the next night, and then they go out and he drinks the blood. They trick him into drinking the blood.
It's another movie where you can say, how long does this take?
Yes.
How long does this movie go for? Because it could go for 3 days.
Because but Diane, we said to him at one stage, she goes, "Oh, you're always out, so there's only that little
Yeah.
point that sort of makes it that, hey, this has been happening for
Yeah.
X amount of time."
Yeah.
But it seems like it's just a couple of days.
It does, yes, it does. Anyway. Okay, you got anything for ugly?
No,
I
I've said it
do.
all.
Yes,
I've
please,
got
Morgs.
2 things for ugly. So the sequels starring Corey Feldman. So Lost Boys: The Tribe in 2008
Good
and
call.
Lost Boys: The Thirst in 2010. So interestingly enough, Kiefer Sutherland didn't make it back for either of those, but his brother Angus Sutherland actually starred in the sequel Lost Boys: The Tribe, which is the first of the 2 sequels. So strangely enough, I've seen neither of those, and not going to make a beeline on the line to see if I can watch them today.
I'll tell you a story about the 2 Lost Boys sequels. I had them in the video shop. They quickly became ex-rental videos with no rentals, and they're out on the front table being sold quick fucking smart.
I bet.
Yeah. They were shit.
It's been rumoured of a 4th one, which was actually going to reunite many of the original cast, but then poor old Corey Haim passed away from treating his body like a playground, much like the Santa Clara. Boardwalk. Yeah, so that was. I don't think that'll be happening anytime soon. Although, did I read somewhere that there is talk of yet another one? I know we were talking about Roadhouse, but looking like it's going to get a remake.
Well, that's been
Roadhouse,
greenlit.
definitely, yeah.
That's Jake Gyllenhaal starring.
Yep.
And bloody Conor McGregor's in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to have some role. Who knows how much?
He'll be Keith David.
Yeah.
Just
Hopefully.
pouring a coffee at the
Yeah,
back and
that's
just
it.
handing it over. Yeah.
So yeah, that was my
Okay,
ugly.
that was it.
Two
Okay.
sequels I would never ever watch.
Yeah, no, you're right there. Okay, so we'll move into listen to this. We talk about a bit of trivia. This is where Gow excels. Talk about a bit of trivia about the movie. What do you got, Gow? You got anything?
Sorry, I'm just looking. Warner Brothers is planning to take another bite out of 1980s cult hit The Lost Boys with a modern take,
Oh, this
I
is like
thought I read that somewhere. Yeah.
starring Noah Jupe and Jaden Martell.
two of the biggest
yeah.
up and coming
Oh,
stars in Hollywood.
that's
Well,
it.
Jupe was in A Quiet Place, so he must have been the kid in A Quiet Place.
The
was
kids in
The
a quiet
Undoing.
place are about 4, aren't they?
Yeah, well, yeah, but how old's that movie?
I
now,
think
so-
his parents are perfume people.
okay.
Jupe.
Oh,
It's a dad joke.
you only know Drakkar Noir.
Mate, no, what was the one? Jazz. I used to wear jazz. We all would have worn
yes.
jazz when we were fucking
Yeah.
teenagers.
Didn't you wear Windex like Grandpa?
Yeah, no, I never got the Windex.
Sorry, where were we?
It would have been
Listen to
just as
this.
successful. It would have been just as successful as the fucking jazz I wore when I was a teenager. It was, yeah. All I had was my jazz hands.
Notable quotables.
Are we just skipping straight to there?
Oh, sorry, I thought
no
you
more
said-
listen to this.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you got anything
Go
more?
listen to this.
I got to listen to this.
I got a good one. Yeah, go, Morgs.
So apparently, I don't remember this, but Kiefer Sutherland and Julia Roberts were engaged to be
Yeah,
married.
they were. Yeah.
And
Yes.
before they could get to the wedding, Julia Roberts ran off with, who do you think she ran off with?
Is it Jason Patric?
Yes.
It's Jason Patric.
Yeah.
Ran off with Jason Patric to Ireland and left a jilted Kiefer Sutherland at the altar. So, and apparently Jason Patric and him were very close friends. So, yeah, that's I don't remember this being a big thing. But
they didn't end up getting married, the two of them, did they?
No, it was, and Sutherland's gone on record as saying it would have been stupid for us to get married anyway. But at the time, I don't think he thought that it was good for his mate to be stoinking his ex-misso in Ireland.
Well, I think Kiefer Sutherland and Julie Roberts together when they were filming Flatline.
Yes.
Right.
They were like the big Hollywood
1990.
couple. Yep. Okay, did you know that this film took 21 days to shoot?
What are you talking
21 days to shoot this
that
whole
can't be
fucking
true.
movie, mate. It started on June 2.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 3 weeks and 21 days. So it took sorry. Sorry, though, but let's hear about it.
Hold on.
Hear about it.
Hold on.
That's 6
3
weeks
weeks and 21 days.
That's 6 weeks. That's 6 weeks. That's 6 weeks.
That's a tight schedule. That's 42 days.
That's 42 days. That's that's ridiculous.
That's not unheard of.
They were on the set of that. It took Jaws 176 days to shoot.
Yeah,
and they filmed this movie in 42 days. Now, sure, it's not the same movie that Jaws is.
They didn't have a big mechanical fish in that one. Yeah.
No, they didn't. But they had vampires, mate.
Yeah, true.
There you go. And they had dogs. And they had dogs that bark when their mouths aren't open when they're chasing people with their tongues hanging out of their mouth, trying to be vicious. It looks like he's going to just jump on and lick it to death. Anyway,
Nanook. I missed the production meeting before the pod, but are we allowed to just make shit up for listen to this now? Because I can change my approach to it a lot.
Well, I didn't make it up. I just fucked it up. There's a difference.
You saved it with the 3 weeks and 21 days, though.
Yeah,
that was
Four
score and 7 days.
No one will know. No one will know. No one will know. It will just seem like it's just. I know what I'm talking about. This was for 42 days. We're going to keep this in.
The power.
Welcome to the real. Welcome to the real Born to Watch. Got anything more for listening to this?
I do.
Yep.
Jim Carrey was considered for the role of David. He'd been in a film called Once Bitten.
Yes.
Previously as a vampire.
Yeah, with Lauren Hutton.
Yes. But obviously, I'm not sure what happened with that, whether he turned it down, but obviously went to Kiefer. And speaking of Kiefer, he actually wore gloves in the movie. He was only supposed to wear them in the first scene, but he broke his wrist doing a wheelie on the bike. And then he had to wear it for the whole movie.
The gloves?
Yeah, and they had to change his bike to be left-handed because he'd broken his right hand, so they had to change it, yeah.
Right. So no stuntmen?
No. So he's left-handed. Could only use his left hand.
Yeah, it happened to me in 98. It was a cruel spot.
Apparently it felt different riding the bike.
It was a cruel 5 weeks riding the bike left-handed. I'll give you the tip. Broke man in the grand final. For 5 weeks, I had to ride left-handed. It was a fucking rough time. Okay, enough of listening to this. We've really scraped the bottom of the barrel on that one. And let's move into 1 degree of Kurt Russell. Second week of 1 degree of Kurt Russell. Anyone got anything for this?
I do.
Gow does.
1 degree of Kurt Russell. Edward Herman, who was Max in this movie, played Grant Staten III in Overboard in 1987, same year.
Really?
Which starred
Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
There you go. That was an easy one.
Well done, Gow.
Well done, Gow. No, that wasn't that easy.
Now, I actually didn't find one. I didn't look for long because I knew the stats man would bring it mid-o.
Please.
And this is from the guy that was like very concerned about 1 degree of Kurt Russell.
You smoked it.
1 degree. And you know what? I've got an inkling about the movie we might do next, and it's another fucking simple one. We may not be able to do it, but we might not be able to do 1 degree of Kurt Russell next week. Okay, notable quotables. What do we got? You know what? This movie actually doesn't have a lot of memorable quotes.
There's a few funny. I went through this. There's a few funny ones, but nothing really stands out. The one I've got here is when Grandpa he's leaving the house to see the widow Johnson and says he's got to deliver some of his stuffed animals to her. And Michael says to him, "What did you stuff for her, Mr. Johnson?"
Yes, how good is it?
There's also a couple when they're converting Michael. Drink some of this, Michael. Be one of us. Initiation's over, Michael. Time to join the club. Which could have been the Yoda Club, for all we know.
Well, when we do some Born to Watch merch, there will be a Yoda Club shirt. It's actually going to be in the first run. It's going to be in the first run of Born to Watch merch. It's going to be Join the Yoda Club. And it's just going to have a white piece of dog shit on the back of it. What about Death by Stereo?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny in the bath.
I think I was with you, Whitey. I actually didn't write any down, but I thought Corey Haim got all the best lines. Most of them are a bit on the nose, but it's definitely not like all the other movies that are done, which we quote every week. It's I don't walk around quoting Lost Boys.
It's not very quotable. Look.
Yeah, the Frog Brothers have a few, but there's nothing really that jumps out as a really, really good one-liners.
No. So I think we move on. There's not many quotes there. Okay. Well, it's that time of the week. Film school for fuckwits.
Yes, fellow fuckwits. Thank you, Whitey. I foreshadowed this a little bit in your third question of the night earlier on when you asked about the best vampire movies. I think you said of the 80s, but I think we should have a bit of a wider look at that. And I also need to apologise. I did listen a bit to the podcast last week, and I've been dribbling on a bit in Film School for Fuckwits. I'm going to tighten up a bit this week. But one thing I wanted to for us to all take a look at were 5 vampire movies that are so fucking shit and 5 that are skill. So I broke them into 2 categories, and the 5 that I came up with that are so fucking shit are Twilight, Twilight New Moon, Twilight Eclipse, Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1, and Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. So just to recap, if you don't remember the phenomena that was Twilight. So Kristen Stewart was Bella, who's a new girl who doesn't know how beautiful she is. Oh, that's not a trope that's used very often. And the Cullens are the hot rich kids in town who are also vampires. And Robert Pattinson, he plays Edward Cullen, who isn't sure if he wants to eat Bella or go out with her. And Edward Cullen is also a 100-year-old virgin who's been in high school for about half a century. And Bella's only consistent character motivation, for what I can tell, for the entire movie, or the entire 5 movies, is that she wants to get fucked by Robert Pattinson and become immortal. So, and that's over 12 hours of screen time. So, that's fair to say that those are the worst vampire movies in recent memory, despite how many tickets they sold to teenage girls during the time. A bonus 6 shit vampire movie is Vampire in Brooklyn with Eddie Murphy, which we talked about last week.
Good call.
You get a bonus. So, with that... Sorry, you go.
I lived through the Twilight phenomenon when I had the video shop.
You would have made some good freight out of it.
I made a lot. I did. No, I made a lot of freight off the earlier ones. They became less popular as they went on.
Yeah.
But the first Twilight movie, the scary thing was the 30 and 40-year-old women coming in to hire it.
Oh.
There are a lot of appalled looks that I give them as I took their money, and hoped that they would get late fees.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, it was a sad phenomenon. I never got it. I've watched snippets of the first Twilight movie, and that's only because it was on in the shop, because one of the girls would put it on, and I'd be like, are you fucking for real? Like, come on, put Big Trouble in Little China on.
I've never watched a skerrick of any of those movies.
There is no need. Now, I did all the Harry Potters. I did the Hunger Games. They're watchable. I've done all those sort of phenomenons that have been of late. Don't go near Twilight. If you do, you're pathetic. What are the good ones, Morgs?
Yeah, so that was the so fucking shit. But 5 vampire movies that are skill. Here's five that I'd like to bring up. So Blade with Wesley Snipes, 1998. First one was good. I thought it was good. The sequels were pretty crapola. But do you guys remember Blade?
Yeah, the second one's not bad. Second one's directed by Guillermo del Toro. The
Right.
second one is actually not bad.
Yeah.
The third one's got Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel in it. Not great, but the first two are good. Yeah, the first two.
Yep. No, I like the first one. A recent-ish one, which I think is very funny, is What We Do in the Shadows, which was co-written by Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi. Yeah, so funny as balls. It's three vampires living in Wellington and struggling with the mundane aspects of modern life, like paying rent, keeping up with the chill wheel, trying to get into nightclubs, and overcoming flatmate conflicts.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, it's since become a TV show as well.
It has in New Zealand and also an international version as well.
Yep.
So
very good.
Something completely different, but definitely flips a lot of the vampire tropes on their head and makes them a bit more like us. So very good. The original Buffy the Vampire Slayer from 1992. Christy Swanson, Luke Perry, R.I.P. Donald Sutherland, Rutger Hauer. Not bad. Obviously started the whole Buffy phenomena that went on. Was directed by Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
Who went on to do the TV series as well. But haven't seen it for a little while, but remember it fondly as very self-aware and a good use of vampires, I thought. So definitely.
Yeah, I watched the original film with Belle, my 8-year-old daughter, about maybe 8 months ago, and then I thought it might be a good idea to start her on the TV series with Sarah Michelle Gellar. And there's obviously, it's very angsty. Oh my God, if you go and revisit and it's on Disney, if you go and revisit the Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it's got some of the worst teen angst music you've ever seen in a show. It's fucking terrible.
Is she always trying to root David Boreanaz?
Well, David Boreanaz. David Boreanaz. No, it's a mix between Manuel Noriega and David Boreanaz.
Yeah, got it.
So it's so angsty. It's actually very difficult to watch, but my 8-year-old daughter froths it.
Oh, the melodrama.
It's now gotten to so they went through high school and it was that do we, don't we have sex, Angel and Buffy, and Angel went bad and Isabel was up and down with it. Oh my God, she was so emotional. Then Angel went and now they're in college and it's a fuck fest.
Right.
We had to stop watching it because the last episode we watched, Buffy was getting plowed for 50 minutes.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, she was getting plowed for 50 minutes. The whole episode, she was getting boned up in a bedroom while the world was imploding because the bad spirits were because she was having sex. It was terrible. And I'm sitting there with Megan and Isabel, and Megan's looking at me cross-eyed from across the couch, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so we actually had to stop. So we've had to stop at sort of season 4, episode 16. We've done a lot of episodes of Buffy, and we've now started Baywatch from the start. Season 1, episode 1, Baywatch.
Oh, revisiting the classics. Good work, Bill.
Anyway, I digressed a bit there. Keep going, Morgs.
Yeah, so, there's those threes, but 2 others. I think the last 2 I would class as excellent and certainly vampire movies that are skills. So 1996 From Dusk Till Dawn, George Clooney, Salma Hayek,
Great flick.
Cheech Marin, Quentin Tarantino, directed by Robert Rodriguez, co-written by Tarantino and Rodriguez. It's just a quirky, stylish film. Like it's not what was expected. It's George Clooney playing against type.
Yeah,
I think it's
definitely.
fair to say.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a rat bag in that one, but comes good at the end. But just for the first time you see this, it's super creepy and sexy and super stylish and funny.
It starts out as a road movie. It starts out as and then it just absolutely flips on its head once it gets to the titty twister.
Yeah. And you don't see that coming.
Yeah. See, I actually think we all saw that together at the movies.
Yeah, we could.
We all saw that together at Ring 'em All.
Me.
I knew that it was a vampire movie. None of you guys knew that it was a vampire movie.
No, that's probably why I think fondly about it. Yeah, because I had no idea.
But I was quite enjoying it. That movie, and you're right, it's rugby, and Clooney's really good in it.
And Quentin Tarantino was seriously creepy.
Yeah.
Seriously creepy.
And then all of a sudden it takes that turn, and I wasn't sure how I felt about
Harvey
that.
Keitel's in it.
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis
as
well. Yeah.
Now, a funny thing is that Quentin Tarantino wrote that movie with Robert Rodriguez. Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish. Quentin Tarantino wrote the scene that he sucks Salma Hayek's toes.
Oh, really?
Yes, like talk about the man,
Yeah.
right? Talk about the man.
Oh, he's a freak.
Yeah.
He's a freak. But no, that's definitely a great example of vampires in celluloid. But the last one you might not have heard of, but it's something I would implore all of our fellow fuckwits to go out and watch tomorrow. It's that good. 2008, it's a Swedish film called Let the Right One In.
Yeah.
It's about a young boy called Oscar who befriends a strange girl, Eli, and they're only young. They're probably 10 years old, the two of them.
Yeah,
and he's bullied and kind of overlooked, and he befriends her. I can't do it justice in that synopsis I just gave it. All I'm saying, fuckwits, go and watch it. Let the Right One In. It is superb, and I think definitely a skill movie.
It's been remade. Let Me In. Don't bother with that. Go and watch Let the Right One In. It is a slow burn. It does not.
It's subtitles. You're going to have to put a bit of effort in. But
it does not surprise me that you chose this movie, Morgs, because you are such a fuckwit. Right?
You won't let me do any fucking films I actually like, so I'm just going to sneak it into film school.
I cannot believe you've left out Fright Night.
Because you mentioned Fright Night before, and I watched Fright Night a lot when we were. That was the only other real horror
it was a go-to
movie that we watched.
Definitely
so I know I knew that we would get to it, and I did think we'd get to it early in the pod. But anyway, that's the end of Film School for Fuckwits. Yeah. Well done. You can riff on vampire movies now with expert knowledge from your favourite industry veteran.
Oh, well done, Morgs. You really tightened that up.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd make it more interactive this week as well. So yeah, I got it down to about 19 minutes. So that was good.
No, I got to say, you are quite the fuckwit. Yeah.
But sorry, Fright Night. Go.
Great. Love Fright Night. It's one of the great vampire movies of all time, and definitely. And this is when I talked about the question about whether Lost Boys the greatest vampire movie of the 80s. I'm going to say no. I think Fright Night is a better vampire movie than Lost Boys. I think Lost Boys is a cooler, edgier, emo,
more stylish
version. But in terms of an actual creepy vampire movie, mate, Fright Night is the best. I've got so many fond memories of Fright Night.
I've never seen it.
William Ragsdale from Herman's Head fame. Like it's so fucking good.
I don't like horror films. I don't gravitate towards them. I haven't seen any of the torture porn movies that old mate from Inglourious Bastards does. What's his name? Eli Roth.
Yeah, Eli Roth. Yep. The bear.
Yeah, the Saws. I probably saw the first Saw, but I didn't watch the rest. I just don't dig them. But Fright Night, I remember really fondly as a kid watching that and thinking it had the right mix of jump scares, but not ridiculous. So, really good call. Great movie.
Okay, well, there we go. There's Fright Night. If you haven't seen the original Fright Night, it was actually remade in the 2000s with Colin Farrell, and it's heinous. Don't watch it. Go back to the original. It's a way better movie. Look like you got something to say.
I was just thinking, another one just popped up. I'm thinking about, which is not a vampire, but American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, that's one of my favourite movies of all time.
Fantastic movie, yeah.
But you're right, Gav. It's not a vampire movie.
Not quite a vampire movie.
No, it's a werewolf.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it has to do with this conversation, but it is a good movie. So nice.
I was just thinking about it. Just came up when we looked at those movies.
And look, it's okay, so another quality film school for fuckwits from Morgs. A little bit of a change of direction there, and we quite enjoyed it. I'm glad we've all learned a little bit more about Morgs and his independent films because he's a cock. So now we're getting to what we've all been waiting for, which is the Stan Bush kick-ass credit song. And this week, it's Dan up there on Sunny Payne's land. Live from the Panic Room, it's Dan on the land with his kick-ass credit song. Take it away.
Well, I mean, it's not that live. This is a week later because I forgot that it was my turn to do the kick-ass credit song. So anyway, we got around to it eventually. So it gave me a bit more time to think, and I changed my song this week because I went back and because I already know what happens in this podcast, so spoiler alert, I thought that the actual superstar of the episode was actually, and probably not given enough credit, was the director Joel Schumacher, and not for anything he did on The Lost Boys, but just because he was such a mad rooter. So I I thought about that, and I thought, what does Joel Schumacher need to immortalise himself as the swordsman that he is? And I came up with 20,000 Down, but Still Coming for You, which is the name of the song. So
Is coming with a U or with an O?
I knew you'd say that. I'll let you decide after the song. So anyway, here it is: 20,000 Down, but Still Coming for You.
Love it.
Corey Feldman's on the bags last night. He needs a good talking to. Kiefer said he could ride a dirt bike. Then he snapped his wrist in two. Jason Patric don't want to be a teen vampire. He's a serious thespian. Santa Cruz don't like the spray paint we write. No Oscar sequel without teen girl lesbians. You might think I'm stressing, but all of this I can get through. My private life is free of repression, but I'm 20,000 down, but still coming for you. 20,000 down, and I'm coming for you. I must have mad ruder, keen to sheath my sword with you. I'm 20,000 down, and I'm coming for you. Had more roots than Wilton, Gene, and Warren Beatty, Jack, and Leo too. I'm 20,000 down, and I'm coming for you. It's lights out on the film set. This next scene is just for us two. 20,000 down, and I'm coming for you.
Oh, Dan. Well played, sir.
I dips my lid to you, Mr. Joel Schumacher. That's Stan Bush's kick-ass credit song for the day, just as my mum and wife walked in to hear the end of that.
And I must say that the power ballad is taking form.
I tell you, it's the perp who got up me for singing the same melody for all my songs was definitely front of mind when thinking I had to change it up. So hopefully I was able to give a bit more out of that one than my standard 4/4 same melody every track. So anyway, there we go.
Well played, Dan. Another quality kick-ass credit song in the fold, and the tour shirt is on the way. Okay, guys, it's time for Star of the Show. Who we got? Gow, who's your star of the show?
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yep.
It's an easy one, I know, but he's really good.
Yeah.
Like his performance is great in this movie. Plays that role really, really well.
Yep.
Quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's good. I can't argue. Morgs, what do you got?
G-Money is on the money with that one. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well played.
Yeah, I know. It's 3 from 3. It's Kiefer Sutherland's movie. He's got the smolder. He steals the show. There's no doubt. Love him.
Good on
you,
you,
Kiefer. And I'm Team Kiefer. What just
Kiefer.
Well done, Kiefer. Did I call him Kiefer? Okay, final thoughts. So as we said it earlier, this movie just exploded in the late 80s and the early 90s. And if you hadn't seen it, you definitely weren't a member of the Bat Pack. But we all did. We all loved Lost Boys. And at Cromer High, School for the Criminally Gifted, it was a big part of our lives. And if we would watch this regularly and rewatch it. On a rewatch, it does hold up well. I really enjoyed Lost Boys. I will watch it again. It's going to be one of these ones where I think I continue to watch whenever I'm looking for something to do and I've got nothing else and I'm feeling like a bit of emo, goth, vampire vibe. Lost Boys will be it for me. What do you think?
I will watch it again. I won't go out of my way to watch it, I don't think.
Yep.
Rewatching it now, I haven't seen it for a long time. Rewatching it now is good. Yeah, it holds up pretty well. But, not something I'll be going out of my way to do.
Okay. Morgs?
Yeah, I enjoyed rewatching it. I hadn't seen it in a long time, but I'm going to bid it farewell. I think that's it for me. I think I've thoroughly enjoyed it, but have no need to revisit it again. So thank you, Lost Boys. You give me a lot of fun over the years. That's it for the two of us, though. A bit like Julia and Kiefer back in the day when Jason Patric came in and cut your lunch.
Now we're going to get to the ratings. Now I've got a couple options here for us that I've done. It's part of my research that I do. So it can be maggot fried rice.
Good.
It can be dangly earrings. It can be deer antlers. Or it can be missing persons.
I think it's maggot fried rice. I think you nailed it.
Yeah, maggot fried rice.
Yeah, I think it's maggot fried rice. Okay, so Morgs, how many maggot fried rices are you going to give the Lost Boys?
Oh, it's a good flick. I'm going to give it a 3. 3 maggot fried rices. Well done, Schumacher. You mad rooter. Excellent play.
Okay, well done. And you, Gal?
3 for me.
Yeah. It's going to be one of these ones which is going to be easy because I'm giving it 3 as well, which means...
Where does that sit us?
So where does this put it in the pantheon at 3 maggot fried rices of the Born to Watch ladder?
Okay, at 3 maggot fried rices, we are 1 below Backdraft, which came in at 3.33 trichlorate cans, but above the Golden Child at 2.5 Ajanti daggers.
Wow, so that's right down the bottom.
So it is in 12th spot.
12th spot.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
So
Okay.
it's down, but hey, that's where it sits. I thought that might get up a little higher,
I
but
thought
when
it
you
might
look
have
what's
been higher.
above it, Tombstone, Major League, Commando, Beverly Hills Cop, Step Brothers, there's a lot of competition.
It's not-
Yeah, there
Can't
is.
beat.
Yeah.
Can't beat.
Can't
that.
beat a lot of those movies.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so 12th spot. There we go. 3 maggot fried rices for the Lost Boys. Now, what are you watching, Gal? What do you got for us this week?
Haven't been watching much this week.
You've been
The real world's been kicking in.
Yeah, you've been a busy man, haven't you?
Been a busy man.
It's
So
actually a job that pays you something.
yeah. So I watched Animal Kingdom again. I'm drip feeding that. It's only episode a week at the moment, so I have to just wait
Wow.
till Monday nights for the current season. But apart from that, nothing.
Well, you might be Ellen barking up the wrong tree with 1 episode a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're on fire with the dad jokes
Boom
tonight.
tush, boom tish, boom tish. And Morgs,
Boom
what about you?
tush.
Boom tush. What do you got, Morgs? Fuck you, Gal.
I've been watching Netflix, the Woodstock doco, the 3-part series
Yeah,
on the
quality.
99 version of I've seen it twice now. Yeah, it's horrific, but
Yeah.
very watchable. And of course, Better Call Saul, which is getting just inching closer to conclusion. So get out there and watch it. Fuck with
Yeah, I'm pumped for the final of Better Call Saul. Can't wait.
Yeah, I want to get back into that. I'm a couple of seasons in, but I need to get right back on it.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Well, I've been watching Breaking Bad because it's such a good show.
Fuck.
How are you going, Mr. 2 episodes?
So what I've been watching is something that's on Foxtel for the Aussies, and it's an ESPN production, 30 for 30. It's The Captain about Derek Jeter. It's freaking amazing. It's really, really good. It talks about him.
What was so good about Jeter? Why was he so revered?
He was drafted out of high school. He was the first round pick for the Yankees. They fell in his lap. He fell in their lap at the 6th pick in the draft, and he did a couple of years in the minors and struggled, and then suddenly clicked and became the minor league player of the year, and then just led them to 4 World Series while he was involved, 5 World Series while he was involved. He became the captain.
What was his go?
He was a shortstop.
Was he an infielder?
Yeah, he was a shortstop.
Yeah, okay.
And look, he sort of did everything right. Look, he didn't hit for power, but he had a good batting average. He was solid in the field. The documentary is amazing. Anything ESPN 30 for 30 is quality, and this.
Yeah, it's
and
really
what
good.
they've
even since Bill Simmons left, it's still high quality.
This is right along the lines of The Last Dance of Michael Jordan. This is what it's that type of doco where it's that in depth, and he's right involved with the production of it. So there's sort of a no holds barred approach to it, which is great. So definitely worth the watch. It's on ESPN 2, I think, on Foxtel. Yeah, watch it. It's great. It's really, really good.
Okay, good tip. Thank you.
Okay, so another amazing episode down. This one was a long one.
Yeah.
I don't even think the edit's going to save this one. This one's going to be a long one about a movie that finished 12th in our ladder. So
work that one out, Jolsey.
I think we're actually going to have a record that the podcast is going to be longer than the movie.
Well, I tell you what, at this point,
going to be longer than the movie.
At this point, our recording says 1 minute 41. And the movie goes for 97 minutes.
Yep.
And I know we're going to cut out about 6 or 7 minutes when Morgs talks absolute shit before we start, but that's going to be close. It's going to be very, very close.
Andy Marsden, this is my gift to you, mate. You can you'll only have to listen to this 3 times to get through next Wednesday.
So what movie are we going to do next week? I know you're all waiting with bated breath. Well,
yeah, I'm curious.
We are heading to Hope.
Oh, really?
Oh.
We're heading to Hope. It's time.
Well, that's cool. Morgs and I have actually been to Hope.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well,
when
I'm
we were
glad
traveling.
it took the 99th percentile of this fucking episode for you to talk about your travels. It's a miracle. We're going to Hope. Rambo, John Jay.
Love it.
One
Can't
of the
wait for
greatest
that one.
movies ever made. This is going to be very.
Yeah, this is a bold statement to the podcast universe.
This is going to be very difficult to not prematurely adulate. But I can't wait to do our first Sly Stallone movie. And 1 degree of Kurt Russell is going to be very, very easy.
Very, very easy. But
very, very.
Tango Cash.
It's done. There, we've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great movie.
Yeah.
This is. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun. First Blood's going to be amazing. So for next week, we'll see you then on the line. That's bye for now.
See you, everybody.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Born to Watch. To join us on our journey into some of our favourite movies of all time, you can find us on all good podcast networks like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and share with your friends.